Welcome, everyone, to the deep dive. Okay, so often when we ponder history's most profound enigmas, our gaze naturally turns outward, doesn't it? Towards the cosmos.
Yeah, looking for ET or some big cosmic event.
Exactly. But what if some of the most mind-bending mysteries, maybe evidence of advanced technology, even echoes of catastrophic ancient conflicts, what if they aren't out there?
Right. What if they're hidden right here on Earth?
Hidden in plain sight, maybe?
Yeah.
Waiting in ancient texts, archaeological sites.
Mm.
So today we're embarking on a really captivating journey, I think. A deep dive into ancient India.
A fascinating place.
Absolutely. It's brimming with remarkable and sometimes, frankly, unsettling claims of advanced tech. We're talking legendary flying machines.
The Vimanas.
Precisely. And astonishing potential evidence of, well, devastating ancient conflicts, and how these age-old concepts kind of surprisingly intersect with modern phenomena.
Today's UAPs, Unidentified Aerial Phenomena.
You got it.
And our mission for you today, well, it's pretty clear. We want to guide you through a really fascinating stack of sources.
Yeah. What kind of stuff are we looking at?
We'll be navigating everything. From centuries-old Sanskrit texts, the Rig Veda, the Ramayana, the Mahabharata, really foundational stuff.
Okay.
All the way to modern military reports, declassified intelligence documents from different countries, even recent archaeological findings that keep challenging our timelines.
Right.
Our goal is to meticulously extract the key insights on India's rich and often, let's be honest, fiercely debated historical narratives, aerial phenomena, catastrophic events. We want to help you get really well informed about a past that, well, it continually and provocatively challenges our basic assumptions about human civilization and technology.
Absolutely. And we're drawing from a diverse pool, aren't we?
Yeah.
Ancient epics, these vibrant narratives. The meticulous details you find in scientific treatises, like the Vaimanika Shastra.
Which we'll definitely get into.
Oh, yeah. Plus contemporary news reports, chronicling modern sightings, and even, get this, declassified military documents.
Yeah.
U.S., India. Bringing these mysteries right into today.
Yeah, it bridges the ancient and modern.
So this deep dive, it isn't just about dissecting old myths. It's really about challenging our assumptions about history, technology, the limits of human, or maybe, just maybe, non-human ingenuity.
Such as boundaries.
Get ready for some serious aha moments, I think. Because what we uncover today might just profoundly shift how you view the past, and maybe even our present. Okay, let's dive right into the heart of it. This ancient mystery that's captivated so many people for so long, the Vimanas. What exactly were these legendary flying machines, these sort of marvels of ancient Indian engineering as they're described?
Right.
It's crucial to understand these aren't just like fleeting mentions in some obscure scroll.
No, not at all. They're extensively described.
Yeah.
Consistently.
In major texts, right? Like the Rig Veda, the Ramayana, the Mahabharata.
Foundational texts. And importantly, they aren't usually depicted as magical beasts or gods pulling chariots.
Not like Apollo's sun chariot or something.
Exactly. They're consistently portrayed as advanced self-propelled vehicles. No animals yoked to them, actual machines. And that's a really critical distinction. It goes right to their ancient origin and significance within India's historical narratives.
Okay.
The term Vimana itself, it's often translated as traversing or measured out. It can mean flying chariots, sure, but sometimes even entire flying palaces.
Flying palaces, wow.
Yeah. And the descriptions across these different texts, remarkably consistent, painting this vivid picture of sophisticated aerial craft that just, well, they defy our usual understanding of ancient tech.
Can you give an example? The most famous one, maybe?
Definitely the Pushpaka Vimana from the Ramayana. Originally belonged to Kubera, the god of wealth, but then Ravana, the demon king, seized it.
Right.
The text describes it like the sun, radiant, magnificent, and it moved entirely at the pilot's will, responded to thought, intention.
Mental control.
Seems like it. After Rama defeated Ravana, the Vimana willingly followed Rama's command, took him, Sita, everyone back to Ayodhya. And according to the texts, it was originally crafted by Lord Vishwakarma, the divine architect, for Brahma himself.
So deep celestial origins in the mythology.
Exactly. Deeply embedded. It wasn't just a one-off story element.
So not just one isolated marvel then. You mentioned the Mahabharata. Does that give us more examples, maybe more technical ones?
Oh, absolutely. The Mahabharata really expands on these concepts considerably.
Okay.
Take King Sava's Salha Vimana. He apparently got it from Maya Danava, who's sometimes described as a being from another planetary system, Talatala.
Interesting detail. What could it do?
Incredible capabilities. It could fly, obviously, with amazing agility, but it could also rest on hills, even float on water.
Land, air, and water, multimodal.
Precisely. But here's the kicker, the most striking feature, really. It could become completely invisible.
Invisible, like stealth technology.
Exactly like stealth technology. It caused immense confusion among the Yadu warriors in battle. The text describes Salva using this cloaking ability to devastating effect. Attack, vanish. Heroes died because they couldn't even target him.
That level of tactical thinking, invisibility in ancient aerial combat. It sounds almost, well, anachronistic.
It does, doesn't it? It forces you to question that nice, neat, linear progression of technology we usually assume.
An invisible flying machine operating in multiple environments. It sounds almost too advanced for myth alone.
And the descriptions only get more detailed, further blurring those lines between myth and maybe a forgotten science.
Like what?
Well, the Dronaparva, another part of the Mahabharata, mentions a sphere-like Vimana.
A sphere, not chariot-shaped.
Right, a sphere, described as being created on winds produced by Mercury.
Winds produced by Mercury, what could that mean? Propulsion?
It's suggestive, isn't it?
Bhima.
Bhima, one of the heroes, is said to have piloted this thing. It generated an enormous ray like the sun.
Like a weapon.
Sounds like it. And produced a noise like the storm's thunder. Again, these aren't just vague ideas. They have elements that resonate unexpectedly with modern concepts of propulsion, energy projection. So the consistent ancient origin, these detailed characteristics, multimedia travel, cloaking, potential energy weapons, they strongly support Vimanas as a core element in India's ancient stories, challenging any simple dismissal.
And this is where it gets really interesting for me. These weren't just vague mentions. You're saying the texts provide what sound like detailed technical descriptions, almost like manuals.
They absolutely do. The Vaimanika Shastra, the science of aeronautics, is pivotal here.
Right, you mentioned that earlier. Attributed to Maharishi Bharadwaj.
That's the one. Reportedly recovered sometime between 1860 and 1865, later translated by G.R. Joser. It's cited as this pioneering work, potentially thousands of years old.
Thousands.
That's the claim. And it discusses aircraft with features like, well, autopilot.
Autopilot in an ancient text. That's astounding.
It is a concept we only really mastered in the 20th century. And crucially, it contains these 32 secrets of flying.
Okay, 32 secrets.
Yeah, detailing various aircraft types, some clearly military, others for surveillance or travel. The fact that such a text even exists, whatever its exact date, points to a serious engagement with aerial mechanics in ancient India.
32 secrets. That sounds incredibly comprehensive, like a proper operational manual. What kind of specifics are we talking about? Can you break down some of these secrets?
Sure. The Rahasya Lahari Guide, which outlines them, really emphasizes the sheer breadth of knowledge of the monopilot needed.
Okay.
It covers everything. Aircraft structure, the mechanics of driving and maneuvering, taking off, landing, even advanced tactics.
Wow.
It even categorizes knowledge into domains like tantrika and mantrika.
Which relate to tantras and mantras, right?
Yeah,
That sounds
right.
almost mystical, blended with mechanical.
Exactly. It hints at a blend of what we might call spiritual or esoteric knowledge with the actual operation. Maybe control involved more than just levers. Mental commands, resonant frequencies, and understanding of consciousness.
Things we're only starting to explore again now.
Perhaps. Then there's Kritaka, which means artificial or mechanical, the nuts and bolts, and concepts like antarakalaka, about time intervals or spacing crucial for navigation. The depth here is way beyond simple storytelling.
You mentioned adrisha and drisha before the invisibility and camouflage. How exactly did those supposedly work, according to the text?
Right. Adrisha is the method for becoming unseen. The instructions describe harnessing power from the 8th layer of the atmosphere.
Which sounds cryptic now, but suggests some specific atmospheric manipulation.
It does. And attracting dark solar rays to make the machine invisible, it's an ancient concept of stealth, maybe manipulating light or energy fields somehow.
Okay. And drisha, the camouflage.
That explains how to be seen, but deceptively. It describes how collisions between wind and electricity in the atmosphere could create a glow.
Like static discharge or plasma?
Maybe something like that. This glow would then be mirrored in front of the Vimana, creating a Maya Vimana, an illusory or camouflaged craft. It would look different from its real form, confusing the enemy.
So not just invisible, but shape-shifting in a way.
Effectively, yes. The level of detail, describing the method, not just the effect. It's genuinely stunning for texts of this age.
So we're not just talking flight. We're talking sophisticated aerial combat, offensive and defensive strategies.
Absolutely. The Vaimanika Shastra outlines complex combat techniques, recognizable stuff,
Like what?
methods for detecting enemy aircraft, then attacking them. It even mentions using what sound like chemical weapons, poisonous gases, called stab dock, to knock out the enemy true.
Chemical warfare from the air.
That's what it sounds like. But also intricate evasion tactics, maneuvers to avoid being seen or hit, support systems, air defense, countermeasures.
Wow, everything a modern Air Force needs.
Pretty much.
Ah.
A comprehensive understanding of aerial warfare.
And inside the Vimana, was there like a cockpit, instruments, anything like avionics?
Yes, the texts describe control panel operations that sound eerily modern.
Go on.
Rupakarshana is mentioned. It's described like a television, allowing the pilot to see inside enemy Vimanas. Real-time intel.
Unbelievable. Like remote viewing tech.
Right. Then Chapala, a switch for high-speed acceleration, to instantly reach, and get this, 4,087 revolutions wave speed when an enemy is spotted. A sudden burst of velocity.
Incredible speeds. And anything else?
Parashabdagrahaka, a sound-capturing device, basically eavesdropping on conversations inside enemy planes.
Ancient electronic warfare. Signal intelligence.
It certainly sounds like it. Acoustic surveillance, maybe? Deep understanding of sound and signals.
The specificity is just staggering. Tactical maneuvers, internal instruments. What about how they were built? The materials.
The fuel, again, remarkably specific, adding another layer to their ancient origin story. They mention specific, currently unidentified metals.
Like what?
Names like Somala, Morthweka, Soundalika. These, mixed correctly, supposedly formed 16 heat-absorbent alloys.
Heat-absorbent, crucial for high speeds, atmospheric reentry, maybe?
Exactly, crucial for the conditions described. And fuel, rasa and quicksilver mercury are mentioned as propellant.
The mercury propulsion, that's unusual.
Highly unusual. It suggests practical knowledge of metallurgy and unique propulsion systems, completely different from our standard historical narrative of ancient tech. The consistency, the detail. It strongly supports Vimanas as a core part of India's ancient story, challenging simple interpretations.
So when we put all this together,
Yeah.
the sheer volume, the consistency across texts, the astonishing detail, what does it all mean in the bigger historical picture of India? It seems hard to just dismiss as folklore.
That's the key insight, isn't it? These aren't just isolated tales. This detailed aerial tech is woven deeply into ancient Indian culture and history.
Any examples outside the main epics?
Sure. The 3rd century BCE edicts of Ashoka, the great emperor, they describe an aerial chariot of Vimanas in festive processions.
So part of public life, not just war or myth.
Suggests a familiarity, at least with the concept. Then there's the legend of Ashoka's 9 unknown men.
Ah, yes, the secret society of scientists.
Supposedly tasked with cataloging advanced sciences, including a book on gravity. Ashoka supposedly kept it hidden, fearing its misuse in war.
Whether literal or symbolic, it shows an awareness of advanced concepts and their dangers.
Precisely. And it's not just Hindu texts. Jainist texts also frequently mention Vimanavasan deities and Tirthankaras, enlightened beings arriving on Vimanas.
So the concept crossed religious boundaries.
It seems so. Some texts, like the Kalpa Sutra, even name specific Vimanas. Puspa Uttara Aparihita Vijaya. They even describe Nalini Gulma Vimanas seen in dreams.
Wow.
This wide presence across different ancient Indian traditions, spanning potentially millennia from the Vedas to later scientific texts like Vaimanika Shastra to Jain scriptures, it really anchors the ancient origin of Vimanas. They weren't just fiction. They were integral to how ancient Indians thought about advanced beings and technology.
And then there's that intriguing mention of an Atlantean connection. That takes things global, doesn't it?
Yes, some interpretations of certain texts reference what they believe is the Atlantean civilization and their Velixi flying machines.
Velixi. How are they described?
Cigar-shaped, capable of maneuvering not just in air but underwater, even outer space.
Cigar-shaped. That sounds familiar from modern reports.
Exactly. The striking thing is how these ancient descriptions mirror characteristics attributed to modern UAPs, that we need to get into.
Right.
But the sheer consistency and detail across all these ancient Indian sources, alloys, fuels, combat tactics, it really forces us to question the standard timeline of tech development. Maybe flight, propulsion, stealth. Maybe these principles were understood or at least observed much, much earlier than we think.
Challenging the idea of discovery as this neat, linear process.
Exactly. The ancient origin of these concepts is just undeniable, whatever they truly represented.
Okay, that was an absolutely mind-bending dive into the Vimanas, their descriptions, their place in ancient Indian history and imagination. Now let's jump forward, dramatically. today.
Right.
How do these ancient descriptions resonate, if at all, with modern unexplained phenomena? Specifically, things seen in Indian skies today. What are the links?
Well, what's fascinating now is the whole context around UAPs has shifted, hasn't it?
Totally. It's not just sci-fi anymore.
No. The Pentagon, NASA, major institutions are acknowledging these phenomena are real and unexplained.
And they have specific characteristics they keep seeing, right?
Yes, a consistent set.
Yeah.
No visible wings, rotors, windows, often tubular or oval shapes, sometimes quite large, up to 40 feet long, reported.
Speeds.
Unusually high speeds. Gravity-defying maneuvers that just shouldn't be possible with known physics. Rapid descents from altitude. Motionless hovering.
And that transmedium thing.
Exactly. Ability to operate underwater, plus cloaking or low visibility, and this apparent ability to sense and evade other craft almost preemptively.
These aren't fuzzy photos anymore. These are credible reports of objects doing incredible things.
Serious observations demanding serious attention.
So these modern descriptions,
Right.
How eerily do they echo the ancient Vimanas we just talked about? The parallels seem almost too precise sometimes.
They are quite striking, almost uncanny, you could say. If we go back to the Vaimanika Shastra, that Sanskrit manual, it explicitly lists 12 spectacular movements a craft could do. Things like rotating, moving sideways instantly, staying perfectly still midair, receding quickly, sudden rapid descents.
Wait, this sounds exactly like...
Exactly like the kinds of maneuvers reported for modern UAPs by military pilots. Documented in Pentagon reports, discussed by experts. That consistency across millennia is thought-provoking. Either a persistent phenomenon or maybe a shared understanding of advanced aerial possibilities.
And the transmedium, travel, land, air, water, that's a big feature of modern UAPs. Did the ancient texts mention that specifically?
Absolutely. The Tripura craft, a type of Vimana in the manual, had exactly that capability. Big parallel.
How was it described?
Designed to move on land, air, sea, even underwater. It had retractable wheels for the ground, could fold them up or use them for water operations.
Just like UAPs reportedly moving between air and water seamlessly.
Precisely. And the cloaking. Modern UFOs, low visibility, their ability to just vanish or seem transparent.
Yeah.
Direct echo in the ancient manual. Detailed descriptions of chemical remedies, internal machines, mirrors for camouflage.
Yeah.
To blend in or become undetectable. Again, these advanced features showing up across this huge time gap. It makes you think.
And wasn't there a modern experiment? Someone actually tested one of these ancient designs?
Yes, a really remarkable experiment in 2017. An aerospace engineer, Travis Taylor.
Okay.
He did a wind tunnel test on a tubular model based directly on descriptions in the Vaimanika Shastra.
And what happened?
Astonishingly, the model, which had no conventional wings or rotors, was flight-worthy. It showed stability, generated lift. It even stayed remarkably still when hit by strong winds.
Like the hovering UAPs.
Just like them. So this experiment lends a degree of, let's say, technical plausibility to some of these ancient descriptions, reinforces the alignment with modern UAP characteristics.
Now let's bring in ancient Indian architecture, specifically the Kailasa Temple. And this whole debate around, indigenous genius versus alien invasion theories. This temple is incredible, isn't it?
It truly is. Kailasa Temple at Ellora. It's not just architecture, it's an enigma. World's largest monolithic structure.
Carved from one rock.
One single basalt rock face, carved top down.
Yeah.
They estimate removing 200,000 tons of rock.
With what tools? This is the 8th century.
Apparently rudimentary ones. The precision is astounding. Millimeter tolerances, smooth walls, intricate carvings. It defies simple explanation for its time. A testament to incredible engineering and art.
So given that complexity, some people say, aliens help. That's the ancient astronaut theory connection.
That's right. The ancient astronaut theory often gets applied here. Proponents argue the scale, the complexity, the seeming impossibility with 8th century tech. It points to extraterrestrial assistance.
And they point to carvings, right, as evidence.
Yeah, they often highlight specific reliefs inside the temple. They see flying celestial beings or unusual spaceship-like craft. For them, these aren't myths. They're records of alien visits.
But that's not the mainstream view at all, is it? There's a strong counter-argument.
Absolutely, and it's crucial we cover this impartially. Mainstream archaeologists see those carvings very differently.
How so?
They interpret them not as literal spaceships, but as sophisticated depictions of Vedic mythological Vimanas, the divine flying chariots we discussed, plus gods, celestial beings from Hindu cosmology.
So grounding it in the cultural and religious context of the time.
Exactly. Seeing it as an expression of belief and amazing artistic skill, not alien intervention. And there's a cultural sensitivity here, too.
How do you mean?
Well, discussions online, like on Reddit, show many Indians feel these alien invasion theories applied to places like Kailasa effectively whitewash or undermine the indigenous genius of ancient Hindu civilizations.
Ah, like saying they couldn't have done it themselves.
Precisely. They compare it to the discredited Aryan invasion theory, seeing it as another attempt to diminish Indian achievements. The prevailing indigenous view is that the temple is a profound testament to human creativity, engineering, devotion, achieved through human ingenuity, not aliens.
And the reliefs.
Seen as representing the sacred, reflecting that existing cultural belief in flying vehicles and gods, consistent with the Vimanas stories we talked about. Representations, not literal depictions of ET craft.
Okay, let's shift focus now to more recent concrete stuff.
Huh.
Unidentified objects actually appearing in Indian airspace. Not just ancient myths or theories about temples, but modern sightings. Let's unpack that.
Right. And India has a surprisingly significant history of credible UFO incidents, often involving military-trained observers, scientists.
Really? Going back how far?
We can start way back in 1944, World War II.
Yeah.
A U.S. serviceman, Captain Alva Emerita, based near Kharagpur.
Yeah.
He reported seeing a spherical object, probably 5 or 6 feet in diameter, very bright and intense red or orange, seemed to have a halo effect. Over the Indian Ocean during a bombing mission, clear report from a trained pilot. Then, jumped to 1951, New Delhi. Even more dramatic. 25 members of the Delhi Flying Club, including their chief aerial engineer.
25 people.
Yes. They reported a 100-foot-long, metallic, cigar-shaped object, moving at an estimated 2,000 miles per hour, Mach 2 plus, with a weird white, then black, exhaust.
Wow. Not just a quick glance.
No, a sustained observation by multiple credible witnesses. And crucially, this was investigated by the U.S. Air Force's Project Blue Book.
The famous UFO project, what did they conclude?
After review, it was officially classified. Unidentified. They couldn't explain it conventionally. That's significant coming from Blue Book.
Very significant. What about later? More remote, sensitive areas, maybe?
Fast forward to 1968. A CIA report, declassified years later, mentioned multiple sightings of bright objects in strategic spots, Ladakh, Nepal, Sikkim, Bhutan.
Okay, bright objects.
But here's the really remarkable part. The report mentions the recovery of a huge, metallic, disc-shaped object with a 6-foot base and 4 feet in height in a crater at Baltachur, Nepal.
Wait, recovery? A metallic disc in a crater?
That's what the declassified CIA document says, declassified in 2001. It adds this tangible physical dimension, beyond just lights in the sky to potential physical evidence.
Recovered? That's incredibly specific and provocative. What about the 21st century, more recent incidents?
Oh, yes. 2004, Himachal Pradesh. An ISRO team, Indian Space Research Organization, scientists and geologists studying a glacier.
Okay, highly credible observers.
They collectively spotted a white object. Looked like a robot floating a few inches above the ground. Then it rapidly became airborne and disappeared.
A floating robot.
That's the description. Now, a photo apparently made it look a bit like balloons, but the official ISRO report claimed complex maneuverability. 14 people saw it.
And what happened with the report?
Detailed reports into the PM's office, ISRO leadership, the Army, intelligence agencies, but apparently the matter was effectively buried.
Buried. That word again. Seems common with these things globally. And even more recent military encounters with advanced tech involved.
Yes. Maybe the most compelling are from 2012 in Ladakh, very sensitive border region.
Okay.
Indian Army and Indo-Tibetan border police units reported over 100 sightings of unidentified luminous objects, day and night, between August and October.
Over 100?
Yes. And here's the key part. They deployed mobile ground radar and a spectrum analyzer.
To track them. Did it work?
No. Neither piece of equipment could detect these objects.
What does that mean?
It strongly suggests they were non-metallic and emitted no standard electromagnetic signals. They even sent up a recon drone, but it lost sight of them.
Wow. Undetectable by radar or spectrum analysis.
Right. Astronomers ruled out stars or planets, but could not conclusively establish what they were. Pushes them beyond known explanations, atmospheric or otherwise.
And the most recent one involved India's top fighter jets, right? Just last year.
Indeed. November 2023, Indian Air Force scrambled 2 Rafale jets, their best near Imphal Airport
What?
to investigate a small white dot UAP.
Yeah.
Flight operations at the airport were stopped for hours because of it.
Did the Rafales find anything? They have amazing sensors.
Despite the advanced sensors, extensive low-level flying, they returned without finding any evidence. The object was not seen thereafter. Underscores how elusive these things are, even against cutting-edge military tech.
There's this real tension, isn't there, between official skepticism and these direct, credible observations. Air Marshal Dilip Patnaik weighed in on this. He linked modern sightings to ancient conditioning.
He did. A decorated veteran offered a nuanced but skeptical view.
What did he say?
While acknowledging sightings, he attributes many UAP reports, especially lights seen by troops, to illusions, atmospheric diffraction or refraction,
Natural phenomena fooling people.
and even radar. He recalled an incident years ago where they actually fired a missile at what they thought was an aircraft, but it turned out to be an illusion, an inversion issue, reflecting something far away.
So even advanced tech can be tricked.
That's his point. But he also made a fascinating cultural point. He suggested Indians are, quote, already conditioned to accept certain degree of non-gnosis things as possible.
Because of the mythology. Ravana's Pushpak Vimana, the Vaimanika Shastra.
Exactly, because those stories are so pervasive. In his view, this cultural context might make people more open to interpreting unexplained things through that ancient lens, even if they are ultimately natural occurrences.
So he's suggesting the deep history of Vimanas might subtly influence how modern Indians perceive UAPs, even if science might later explain them as illusions. That's a really interesting psychological and cultural link between the ancient world and modern skepticism. Shows how deep these narratives run.
Okay, we've looked at the flying machines, the Vimanas, and their unsettling parallels with modern UAPs. Now let's shift gears to something even more, well, unsettling. Disturbing, really. The possibility that ancient India might have seen conflicts on an unimaginable scale, leaving behind what some believe are chilling traces of atomic war.
This is where the narrative gets really deep and challenging.
Where do we start with this? The texts again.
We start again with the Mahabharata, one of India's foundational epics. It contains passages that many researchers argue seem to portray the effects of atomic war with disturbing accuracy. How so? What kind of descriptions?
So the epic describes enormous blasts more brilliant than 1,000 suns.
That phrase, brilliant than 1,000 suns, it's famously associated with the first atomic test.
Exactly. Chillingly similar. It talks about utter devastation. Cadavers burned to the point that they were unrecognizable, suggesting intense heat flash.
Horrifying. What else?
Those who survived the immediate blast, they lost their hair and fingernails. Crucial food supplies became polluted, poisoned.
Hair loss, nail loss, contaminated food, those sound like specific effects. What's the modern scientific parallel? Why does this resonate?
The profound connection is that these ancient descriptions match, almost perfectly, our modern scientific understanding of severe radiation poisoning, acute radiation syndrome.
Right, hair loss is a classic symptom.
It is. The unrecognizable bodies suggest extreme heat, cellular damage, and polluted food and water. Direct consequences of radioactive fallout, making areas uninhabitable.
So the suggestion is the authors of these ancient texts somehow knew about or observed things remarkably consistent with nuclear warfare effects.
That's the argument. A technology we thought was purely 20th century. The specificity makes it hard to just dismiss as poetic license or exaggeration.
So if the literature hints at this, what about tangible evidence? Archaeological findings, anything on the ground to back this up?
The archaeological findings are controversial, definitely, but they are compelling and deserve serious thought.
Like what? Where?
In Rajasthan, northwestern India, near Jodhpur, a layer of highly radioactive cinder was discovered.
Radioactive cinder?
Yes. Significant enough to warrant investigation. Such a concentrated layer of radioactivity is anomalous. Doesn't easily fit standard geology. Suggests some ancient high-energy event.
And then there's Mohenjo-Daro, that famous Indus Valley site built around 2500 BCE. What was found there that fuels this atomic war theory?
Mohenjo-Daro, rediscovered in the 1920s. Excavations uncovered some really perplexing things.
Such as?
44 scattered skeletons, found throughout the city, lying in the streets in debris, not properly buried, suggesting they died suddenly, violently, unexpectedly.
A cataclysm, maybe, rather than disease or normal death?
That's one interpretation. And beyond the bodies, certain areas of the site showed increased, anomalous levels of radioactivity, higher than natural background for a site that old.
And the objects. Didn't they find strange things like melted pottery or rocks, described as Glassified?
Yes, that's a key piece of evidence. An analyst, David Davenport, documented what looked like an epicenter, a 50-yard sweep where objects were intertwined and glassified.
Glassified how?
Rocks, pottery, other materials apparently melted by incredible heat, estimated around 1,500 degrees Celsius, then cooled rapidly into glass.
That process, vitrification, that happens in nuclear blasts, doesn't it?
It's a known effect of high-energy explosions, yes,
Yeah.
including nuclear detonations. The intense heat flash melts materials instantly.
Have other researchers backed up these findings, the radiation, the vitrification?
Yes. A. Gorbowski, in a book on ancient history conundrums, claimed at least one skeleton found there had radiation levels multiple times higher than it should have.
Suggesting direct, severe exposure.
That was his claim. He also noted thousands of dark stones, which were once clay pots, fused together by extreme heat, again pointing to an event of immense thermal energy.
And Davenport, the analyst you mentioned, he directly compared Mohenjo-Daro to modern atomic sites.
He did. He asserted that these combined findings, vitrified objects, scattered skeletons, radioactivity, quote, emulate precisely the effects of the fallout that occurred in Hiroshima and Nagasaki amid the 20th century.
That's a stark comparison, deeply unsettling. To suggest nuclear-like effects millennia ago, but okay, it's absolutely vital, like we said before, to present the full picture. The counter-arguments, the skepticism, we need to stay impartial here.
Absolutely crucial. And there are strong counter-arguments from skeptical researchers.
What do they say about the skeletons?
Some refute the cataclysm idea. They suggest it was just a mass grave of the sloppiest, most contemptuous kind. Maybe victims of disease, a raid, other violence. Not necessarily an instant citywide event. The disarray doesn't automatically prove an atomic blast.
Okay. What about the buildings? Wouldn't a nuke flatten everything?
That's another point. Skeptics note that if a nuclear blast powerful enough to cause that vitrification happened, simple mud block structures ought to have easily been destroyed. Yet some walls remain standing quite high, maybe 15 feet.
Which seems inconsistent with a massive shockwave.
It does seem inconsistent. And for the vitrification, alternative explanations are offered. Intense natural fires, maybe from burning oil or gas seeping up, or even massive lightning strikes, which can fuse sand and rock into glass-like fulgurites.
And the radioactivity?
Also debated. Some argue the levels might be within geological variations for the area, or due to natural radioactive minerals, not necessarily fallout from a blast.
So the evidence is intriguing, definitely provocative, but it's not conclusive. There are big questions, alternative explanations. We're left with more mystery than answers, really.
Precisely, which leaves us with these profound, unanswered questions challenging our basic history. Could there be more to our ancient past? A non-linear tech path.
Right.
What did cause the radioactivity and vitrification, if not atomic weapons? Could ancient people have had such abilities? Or was it another kind of cataclysm entirely? A massive meteor impact, maybe, with similar heat and shock effects.
We don't know for sure.
We don't. These are the enduring mysteries that Mohenjo-Daro and those vivid ancient texts force us to confront, deeply challenging our conventional view of the human past. The possibility of ancient atomic weapons, whether real or described, raises truly unsettling questions about civilization's trajectory. Hashtag tag outro down.
Wow, we have journeyed through an incredibly rich, mysterious, and sometimes unsettling landscape today, haven't we?
We certainly have.
From those astonishingly detailed blueprints of legendary flying machines, the Vimanas, so deep in India's ancient stories,
to the startling echoes of potentially ancient atomic conflicts etched into the earth itself. It's been quite the deep dive into ancient Indian skies and unexplained cataclysms.
It undeniably has. Ancient India's literature, its archaeology.
Yeah.
They present this mosaic of clues that really challenge our neat, linear understanding of history and technology.
Yeah.
From the Vaimanas, their designs, materials, fuel, combat tactics described in texts like the Vaimanika Shastra revered in epics, to the unsettling parallels with modern UAPs. Even the potential traces of atomic-scale devastation at Mohenjo-Daro.
Right.
The narratives consistently suggest a past far more complex, maybe far more technologically advanced than we usually accept. These stories, whether literal history or profound metaphors, they're deeply embedded in India's identity, offering this unique perspective.
And this journey, it's not just about ancient history, is it? It connects right to our modern world, the ongoing quest to understand things we still can't explain, things that baffle experts today. As you reflect on all this, what stands out to you?
For me, it's just the sheer audacity, the consistency of these ancient descriptions, paired with the enduring mystery. It really makes you wonder how much we truly know about human ingenuity, or maybe non-human ingenuity, throughout history, and how much might have been lost.
That loss of knowledge,
Yeah.
it raises a critical question for us today, doesn't it?
How so?
If ancient civilizations did possess such advanced knowledge, flight, propulsion, even devastating warfare, what institutional knowledge, what scientific progress might have been just irrevocably lost, wiped out when civilizations declined or collapsed?
Yeah. What are the implications of that?
What does that mean for our own future understanding, our preservation of knowledge? What can we learn about these cycles of technological advance and loss, the rise and fall of complex societies? How might that inform how we approach today's mysteries, or even how we manage our own scientific progress?
So the past isn't just history.
Maybe not. It could be a warning, or perhaps even a forgotten blueprint for understanding the present, and maybe, just maybe, shaping the future. Makes you think, doesn't it?